So again, welcome back to Stream C, Articulating Impact to Diverse Audiences. This will be the third module, third webinar that we'll be running, and this is about qualitative data analysis. And we have with us our instructor, as always, John Gultig.
Okay, thanks so much, Piali. So just to put this in context, as Piali was saying, this is all about articulating impact. It's about going out to your donors or to your beneficiaries and saying, look, we actually, whatever we did, made a difference. And in our very first module, what we looked at was something about communicating it. What are the skills, what are the best practices in communicating those? And that was all about who are you communicating to, what is the reason for your communication. So we looked at that, and we're going to come back to that in Module 4. In Modules 2 and 3, though, what we said was, where do we get the content to articulate this impact? How do we actually know what to say? And in last week's module, what we looked at was, how do we derive this content quantitatively? How do we go out and measure things and get numbers and trends and so on about what our impact was? For instance, have birth weights of newly born babies increased, which indicates that maybe our nutrition program worked, etc., etc. What we're going to do today, though, as Piali said, is really have a look at the qualitative side to this. So another way in which we can collect our content is looking at qualitative data and then making sense of that qualitative data, and in many cases mixing it with the quantitative data, because it's that mix that really gives it power. So that's what we're going to look at today, is how do we actually make sense of qualitative data, and then how do we actually communicate that qualitative data to some extent. So the question really is, and at the core, what is the difference between qualitative data analysis and quantitative data analysis? And in many ways, the cartoon answers that story. As the one person says, it's very hard to quantify how I feel about something. But what we try with quantitative data all the time is to quantify feelings. So we will say things like, how satisfied are you with this particular course on a rating scale of 1 to 5, or in this case of 1 to 10. And people might give you an 8, which suggests that they are pretty satisfied. And we can then quantify that and say 80% of people were satisfied with this and 20% were not satisfied. So that's one way of doing it. But I think all of you will know that doesn't really give you much nuance. It doesn't tell you why they are satisfied, what they mean by satisfaction. In other words, you're not really capturing the feeling. You're certainly quantifying how people say they feel, but you don't really know anything about that feeling. And that is what qualitative data tries to do. It tries to get at the quality of those feelings, at the quality of what is happening, at the how and the why, but in particular, how does it actually seem to the participants in the field. And I'd like to give you another example just from my own experience this very week. I went to the doctor because I sometimes have blurred vision. And what they gave me was this survey, and all of the questions were 1 to 5 rating. And one of the ratings was a 5-point scale saying, when does this blurriness occur? When does this double vision occur? Does it occur when you wake up? Does it occur early in the morning, in the mid-afternoon, in the evening? And it had those kinds of things. And for me, none of those were correct. To some extent, the evening was more correct, but it would also happen in the morning. And for me, it was linked to fatigue. If I worked, went on a hike, I would get double vision. If I worked hard at a computer, I would get double vision. So what I tried to do was I tried to write that in. And I said, it's this and this. It's evening plus this comment. So I gave some qualitative data. And the person came back to me and saying, well, sorry, you have to choose between this number and this number. And I said, well, if I choose, then you're not going to get the real feeling, the real data. And they said, well, you just have to, because that's how the machine actually does the analysis. So I had to choose, and interestingly, what they got there was a lovely, reliable figure which was able which allowed them to say, yes, this is what the problem is, this is what you suffer from. The problem is, the qualitative data that they based that on was not actually very nuanced or true. Because the link for me is that it's linked to fatigue, it's not linked to time of day. But there's a situation of it where you try to capture a quality, but you're trying to do it quantitatively, and what you have to do then is flatten things out. And in the worst cases, you give bad data, or else you give goodish data but with no nuance. So, what we're really trying to do with qualitative analysis is get at that nuance. Now, one of you, this is a bit old now, because this is the Raptors experience, and many of you might have had a similar experience from the Jays. In everyday reporting, we constantly have this mix of quantitative evaluation and qualitative evaluation. And here, from the Raptors' almost victory about half a year ago, you can see what a quantitative evaluation of their run in the NBA was.